By the end of the 100-Year War, Katara is a bending prodigy. She can raise tsunamis, heal mortal wounds, and possesses a power so feared, most believe it's a myth: bloodbending. With it, she could have been the most dangerous person on the planet, and yet, she never used it again. The simple answer is, it's immoral. But that's not interesting. The truth is a psychological case study of trauma, temptation, and a conscious choice to reject a power that she knew she was uniquely suited to wield and uniquely vulnerable to being corrupted by. This is the untold story of why Katara's greatest potential weapon was also her greatest personal threat. Part 1. The Philosophy of the Element. Why waterbenders are susceptible. Before we even get to Hama, we need to understand a fundamental truth about the element of water. Unlike the other elements, water's core philosophy is not about overpowering, but about influencing. An earthbender meets force with force. A firebender generates force from within. An airbender evades force. But a waterbender redirects force. They use their opponent's own energy against them. This principle of push and pull is the foundation of their entire art. It is an intimate, connected form of bending. And this is exactly what makes them vulnerable to bloodbending's temptation. Healing is the ultimate positive expression of this philosophy, influencing another's body to restore it. Bloodbending is the ultimate negative expression, influencing another's body to control it. They are two sides of the exact same coin. A firebender can't bloodbend because their philosophy is about generating internal power, not influencing external bodies. An earthbender can't because their domain is the inanimate. Only a waterbender, whose entire art is based on the principle of push and pull, could ever discover this horrifying potential within their own element. This is why Hama's lesson wasn't just a lesson. It was an awakening of a dormant, dark potential that lives within every waterbender. Part 2. The Perfect Teacher. Hama's weaponized trauma. Hama didn't just stumble upon bloodbending. The show gives us clues that she was already a powerful, perhaps ruthless bender before she was captured. She was one of the last waterbenders of the southern tribe to be taken down. Her survival in prison wasn't just luck. It was the result of a singular, unbreakable will focused on one thing: revenge. Her prison wasn't just a cage. It was a psychological crucible. It systematically stripped away every form of water except the one inside living beings. For Hama, discovering bloodbending wasn't a moment of dark magic. It was a moment of logical, desperate innovation. And it fused her bending ability with her trauma. Her power became inseparable from her hatred. This is why she was the perfect, terrifying teacher for Katara. She didn't just show her a new technique. She presented it wrapped in a philosophy of righteous victimhood. Her argument is almost flawless. They took everything from me. I am simply using their own bodies to take my freedom back. It's justice. When she forces Katara to learn by turning Aang and Sokka against each other, she's not just teaching her a move. She is forcing Katara to briefly step into her own mind, to feel that same desperation, to justify an extreme act for the sake of protecting others. Hama's final words, "Congratulations, you're a bloodbender," are not a compliment. They are a curse. It's Hama saying, "I have now planted my own trauma inside of you. You can never forget what you are capable of." Part 3. The Southern Raiders. A clinical test of a hypothesis. This brings us to Katara's hunt for her mother's killer. Most view this as a simple revenge quest. It's not. It is a clinical, controlled experiment. Katara is testing Hama's hypothesis. Does extreme trauma give me the moral right to inflict extreme control? Zuko, ironically, acts as the catalyst. He, a man whose entire life was defined by a quest for honor, pushes Katara towards an act that would shatter her own. The journey transforms her. Notice her bending. It's no longer the fluid, graceful style we know. It becomes sharp, jagged, lethal. She creates daggers of ice. She stops the rain. This isn't just anger. This is Katara consciously channeling her pain into a weapon, just as Hama did. She is methodically replicating the conditions that created bloodbending in the first place. When she finally confronts Yonra, the moon is out. The power is at its absolute peak. The conditions of the experiment are perfect. And she does use bloodbending on him. This is the crucial moment. She seizes control of him, and for a split second, she holds the power of life and death, the ultimate expression of Hama's philosophy. But the experiment yields an unexpected result. Looking at this pathetic, broken man, Katara has a revelation. This act of total domination doesn't bring her peace. It doesn't heal her trauma. It only makes her feel like Hama. She realizes the hypothesis is flawed. Inflicting control doesn't create justice. It only creates more pain. Her refusal to kill him is not forgiveness. It is a rejection of the flawed data. It is Katara, the scientist of her own soul, concluding the experiment. The answer is no. This power is a poison, not a cure. Part 4. The political ramifications. The legacy of a forbidden art. Katara's decision has consequences far beyond her own spirit. In the comics, we see her turn this personal conclusion into public policy. She understands something fundamental. A power that can instantly remove a person's free will has no place in a society that values freedom. So she champions the law to make bloodbending illegal in the United Republic. This is not just a moral stance. It is a profound act of political wisdom. Katara is the only person on the council who truly understands the seductive, corrupting nature of this power, because she herself has felt it. She is legislating against her own darkest potential. Her wisdom is tragically validated a generation later with the story of Yakone and his sons, Tarlok and Aemon. Yakone's story proves that bloodbending is a generational curse. He uses it for crime, and when it's taken from him by Aang, he passes his hatred and trauma on to his children, forcing them to bloodbend each other in a horrifying perversion of brotherly love. This abuse creates two broken men. Tarlok uses his power for political control, and his brother Notak becomes Aemon, a man who so deeply hates the gift that defined his trauma that he uses it to strip that same gift from others. Aemon's entire crusade is a twisted, externalized form of self-hatred. The story of Aemon is the final horrifying proof that Katara was right. Bloodbending isn't just a skill. It is a spiritual disease. It is a power that doesn't just control others. It inevitably consumes the user, their family, and their legacy. So why did Katara never use bloodbending again? Because she was the only one who truly understood its source code. She recognized her innate talent for influencing the water in others for healing was the very thing that made her a candidate for its dark mirror. She clinically tested the philosophy of revenge and found it hollow. And she saw the generational poison it represented and had the wisdom to build legal walls against it. In a world full of heroes trying to become more powerful, Katara's ultimate journey was about finding the strength not to use the immense power she already had. Her refusal was not a sign of fear or weakness. It was the final, definitive act of a true master. Not just a master of water, but a master of herself. If this analysis gave you a new perspective, please consider liking this video and subscribing to Untold Stories. Thank you for watching.